When it comes to ARK, survival is the key to a great experience. So we proudly present our survival guide to ARK Survival Evolved. Over the years, ARK has had some major changes, and with the conclusion of Genesis 2, ARK is now completed. With 6 official maps that rely to each other, ARK has had a crazy story. Starting on the island, this is a great map to get started on. When joining ARK, start out on the island and go to these explorer notes in this pattern. Start in by spawning in West 2. You should spawn at about the same location and come to this first explorer note. This should get you about 19 levels right away and get you going pretty quickly. I highly recommend putting all of your points into movement speed, as you can get to the next explorer note quicker. Just don't overdo it because you'll regret it later. And by the way, this is made on OC, and wow, look at that amazing ping from our amazing servers that you should totally go join. Anyways, going to the next one, you have to climb up these rocks. It's a little tricky. I actually tried to go over on this side because I've never done it before, and it turns out you cannot get to it. So I had to go around this way, and of course you got to climb up the rocks. Be careful not to fall off because you can fall off pretty easily and it sucks. And then you come over to this note and then come down here, jump down, put all the other ones in a movement speed. Then you're going to go to the 4 times note, which is over here. And that looks like this. It's kind of like a tech note with like a tech diagram thing. And then we go into the water right here, go along the bay, and around here you should see the next explorer note, which is right here. As you can see, that gave me 21 more levels from both of those. And now coming over here, gonna climb up this massive hill, and yes, it's a lot longer than it looks, I'll say that. Getting all these notes does take a good amount of time. But anyways, you come through here, and I'm already at level 69. Then coming down here, we get the final explorer note right here, and that will get you up to level 70. Now, let's go over to either Extinction or Aberration, and farm the explorer notes on those maps. You only really need to do this until you hit level 75. After this, let's head back over to the island. But before we move on, here's a word from our sponsor. Do you suffer from no-life 30-year-olds who raid you constantly? Well, here on OC, we can't guarantee this won't happen, but we can guarantee a fun official type server for everyone around the world. With custom individual harvesting rates, we guarantee you will love to waste countless hours of your life on our server. OC offers 24/7 admin support to ensure your stupid mistakes get taken care of. Come join our international servers today and use code NOLIFE for 50% off anything in the store. On the island, before we get started, you'll need a Megatherium or a frog and a gas mask. Now, of course, these items may not be the easiest to get, but for the most part shouldn't take you long to tame and craft. Head to these coordinates on screen, or here it is on a map. You'll see an entrance like this. Just make sure to beware, as you can die very quickly in this cave, so I recommend placing a bed out front. By running this cave 2 to 5 times, you'll hit level 100 in no time. Now that that's complete, let's move on to base locations. Base building can seem hard, especially for new players, as you may know nothing about any map, and let me tell you, these maps are massive. Building out in the open will get you nowhere, as with the new updates and DLCs, they've broken ARK. Staying hidden is the key to a fun, extensive play on ARK. Caves and hidden locations known as rat holes are great to build in. Just be careful, as some of these caves have 6x damage, meaning 1 C4 to your base and it's gone. We have many videos about rat holes and caves which can be found on our channel, so feel free to check them out. Now let's go over the top 5 tames that I recommend that you have in your base. For an early game option, I highly recommend the raptor, as you can knock this tame out with your fists, and it is a great meat gatherer, supplying raw meat and hide to your tribe. A later on tame would be the Therizino. This tame is amazing for just about anything. This terrifying dinosaur, which needs a pedicure, can harvest meat, berries, fiber, wood, thatch, and even humans. This dino makes for a great farmer and is amazing in PvP. Taming this dino could take hours, and make sure you're always watching it. You never know when it's gonna wake up. Up next is the wyvern. Wyverns can be found in any scar on Scorched Earth, Ragnarok, Valgero, and Crystal Isles. Their eggs can be obtained from these areas by using a PT. Just be careful, as you will aggro all the wyverns when an egg is picked up. Up next is the rhino. The rhino makes for an amazing boss fighting dino and an outstanding PvP dino. With the ability to enrage gigas, this dino is known for one-shotting enemies. For the final dino, we have the Giga. For raiding and base defense, this gargantuan of a beast can be tamed on almost all maps. It will take a lot of time to knock out and wakes up pretty quickly. This dino can be used to kill anyone threatening your base and may even save your base from a potential raid. Now, let's move on to the resources. Farming resources can be tricky and sometimes impossible for new players. As you may not know the main area for things like metal, here are some tips and my best advice for finding resources. For wood and thatch, I highly recommend going to the redwoods on the center or any other map that has redwoods. Bring a chainsaw and an Argentavis. You'll fill it up pretty quickly. For metal and stone, go to high mountain peaks or popular metal spawn locations found on the ARK wiki site. If you want to farm a lot of metal, go to Aberration with an Anki and a Crab or a Magmasaur for late game players and harvest these rocks. These rocks tend to give the most metal, and you can easily farm millions of metal this way. For items such as crystal and oil, go to Crystal Isles and go underwater, or in some ice caves on certain maps to find oil. And of course for element, go to Extinction and kill dinos or harvest lampposts, or go to Genesis 2 and farm drops. Moving on, we have base layouts. Starting off fresh may confuse you on how to build your base. Building a base may seem easy until you get raided over and over, and let me tell you, this will keep happening no matter what, but it's good to try and find competitive ways to keep players out for longer. First, let's get on to the layout. If you are a small tribe like a solo, duo, or trio, make a small base. Building a bigger base means more space to cover, and more weak spots for opposers to get in. If you're in a bigger tribe, build a decent sized base, but your base size should never go over a 10x10 unless you're in a cave. With the 100 turret official limit, covering a 10x10 or bigger just creates problems. For example, you can't place as many turrets on one side because of this issue. Finally, I'd say to make sure you always layer your base. Whether this be foundations, walls, or ceilings, layering is what keeps your base alive. Now is the fun part to ARK. Leveling up after level 100 is gonna be fun. Want to slave your life away to this game? We got you covered. Just collect every explorer note to receive 10 extra levels. Next, defeat every boss in the game to receive 60 more levels. And finally, collect 5 GBs to receive your final 5 levels. Once this is done, you can finally reach level 180. You'll probably realize you wasted a few years in this game getting here, but it's worth it, right? But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for our survival guide to ARK Survival Evolved. We hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you're new, hit that subscribe button, try to help us hit 50k, and go check out our servers at ocrk.com.